Let's Talk World show presented by Clickaway Creators. Today we have with us Mr. Sameet Gambhir. We are very pleased to have you with us today. Sameet's expertise includes regulatory and corporate legal matters, corporate compliances under various corporate laws, SEBI regulations, RBI and FEMA matters, contract management and legal documentation. He carries vast experience in handling board meetings, shareholder meetings, investor relations, litigation support, due diligence, and has handled mergers, acquisitions, setting up foreign subsidiaries, and the formation of JVs, restructuring, winding up liquidation matters during his role with various companies. Thank you so much for joining us. We're really pleased to have you with us today.
Pleasure is all mine, Prachi. I'm really pleased to be on your show. Thank you very much for inviting me for this.
Thank you. We'd like to begin by knowing a brief about your personal and professional background.
Okay, so I am a company secretary and a law graduate with over 25 years of total experience in legal, corporate law, compliances, corporate secretarial. Currently, I work with a company called DCM Shriram Limited. I work as a joint vice president, corporate law and company secretary, almost last 5 years. In past, I worked with the organization like KPMG as their legal head and company secretary, and with Schneider Electric in India, and Hill and Associates as their legal head and company secretary. So overall, 25 years of experience in the legal and related fields. And currently, I stay in Gurgaon. My office is in AeroCity now. I stay in Gurgaon, and so that's all about my wife worked with Ministry of Defense. I have one kid who's given the exam for 12th now. That's about the family.
Well, that is an amazing portfolio, I must say, with all the companies that you have worked with. That is an amazing portfolio. So, Sameet, tell us, what are the three major aspects of the business that you consider most important?
The major three aspects I would say is, for me, the number one is stakeholder management, actually. I would say stakeholder management, which means, all kind of stakeholders you have to manage very perfectly. One is not only your customers or your shareholders, but your suppliers, vendors, employees. So everyone comes into the stakeholder. So for a successful organization, stakeholder management is very, very important. And you should keep on taking feedbacks from your customers, from your suppliers, from your employees, and then keep on checking on them, keep meeting them, interacting with them. So you have to try to engage your stakeholders as much as possible, and that is one of the major aspect for a business success. The second major aspect I would say is obviously is operational excellency. Operational excellence is, yes, which includes all your planning, all your business planning, your portfolio, your organization related planning, your policies, your HR policies, and your business plans in terms of your operational excellence and all. So second is operational excellence is, of course, is a very major aspect. Third, I would say, is financial management, because finance is the blood of the organization, is the backbone of the organization. So financial management is very, very important. The kind of budgeting, kind of cost saving, where do you think that you are spending, what kind of a budgeting you have, particularly the cost optimization in projects, cost optimization in overheads and all. So I think the operational excellence, financial management, and stakeholder relationship, these three are the main business aspects according to me, which are very, very important, I would say.
I am in sync with you like 100%, because of course just the external stakeholders, it's also the internal stakeholders,
Yes.
That's very important to manage. And of course, finance is a huge aspect. So financial management and all of this in turn leads to process excellency as well. So I agree with you like 100% on this. What has been a lighthouse beacon to you, Sameet?
I would say it was the start of my career. And one thing which I learned a lot about it, and that is, when I was very young and I was working with an organization, immediately after passing my law and company secretary, I was working with an organization. And, in an organization, when you join as a youngster, as a lawyer or as a company secretary, So you don't get much of this kind of thing, that people don't much recognize you unless you have a lot of heavy portfolio with you. So this organization was not much of the litigation the organization has. Plus, we didn't have much exposure in terms of the company secretarial work. Also, so I was sitting in a corner as a youngster, and office corner, and then people used to say, "Okay, he's our company secretary." And so I was thinking, yeah, it's been 1.5 year, 2 years. I'm thinking that nobody knows me. In fact, I never met the managing director of the organization. This is what am I doing actually here? So then I realized, one thing which I realized, that, you have to do something. You have to come to the eyes of the management. You have to show something, and you have to do something wherein people can actually know you.
Right.
And by chance, I got an opportunity wherein, there was a debtor who was not paying us, and one of the lawyer was meeting our managing director, and he was advising on some, um, in fact, some resource, some kind of advices in terms of how to recover that money and all. And then he said that there is a provision in Companies Act also, wherein, at that was a earlier time, the old Companies Act. There is a provision on Companies Act also, wherein you can actually go for winding up that company, and that becomes a pressure tech case. So he said that, do you have a company secretary in your company? And my MD says, yes, I have a company secretary sitting there in the corner. He never met me, frankly. And then he called me in that meeting. First time, I met him in a meeting, and then I thought it's a good opportunity. Can't miss it, frankly. And then, when I started discussing with the lawyer, I know a lot of provisions and a lot of case laws also in terms of that.
Right.
So I started quoting some case laws in support of that matter and all. And then lawyer started talking to me instead of MD. And then, MD was looking at me, oh, Akshay, we never did it properly and all, and this and that. And then, that day, and immediately after a month, I was completely given the, big care of the organization, along with, all kind of litigations, which I was not even handling and all. So all these things. So then I realized, you have to prove yourself. Basically, when you get an opportunity, you never know when you get the opportunity, frankly. But whenever an opportunity is there, you must make full use of that opportunity. You shouldn't get it waste, frankly. And that's how I realized that only focusing on your work and you think you're doing very good. No, you have
That's
to go
not true.
extra mile. You have to show it yourself. You have to tell yourself that what all you know. In fact, so that's I would say it's learning in my career.
Well, it's a great thing, you seized the opportunity, you saw it, you landed in a great spot, wherein the MD recognized and they picked you. And of course, you
That's
had
right.
knowledge. You were always like great with that. So that is an amazing story out there for everyone that, sees the opportunities that you get, because that is how you do
Yes,
this. You have to create a demand for yourself and make your presence
absolutely,
felt.
absolutely.
So, piggybacking on this, what are the three best practices that you would like to recommend to our young legal professionals?
Number one is that be yourself, and find out your potential. So don't try to copy someone. Don't try to be someone. Be whatever you are. You original, whatever you have. Be yourself. Number one, and then you see what potential you have. Because in legal, you really, if you start copying someone, that doesn't make any sense. You have to have your own self. Second is, never stop learning. At any age, whenever you think you become a lawyer, you've done a trainings and all, you started working with big firm or big organization. So in this profession, I have seen that every day you have a new challenge. So every day there is a new learning. So don't stop learning at all. Every day, try to get some new books, some new case laws. And third, and the important thing is that the time is coming for technology, artificial intelligence, and all. So you need to be cope up with that. You need to be ready, gear up for that. Tomorrow the lawyering is going to be changed. The way we
Yes.
do lawyering is going to be changed, and of course, the work which juniors, or the work which takes a lot of time now, is going to be in minutes. So you should be ready with that, and you have to only think that the creativity or the brain of a lawyer will only be valuable, instead of the routine work.
Absolutely. Again, very valid points. You have to keep yourself current. You have to keep yourself
Yeah,
updated.
in legal,
Then
yes.
you have to embrace technology. Even though this is law, we still will have to go to the core, I guess. but then there are so many other forms in which we can absolutely embrace technology for like the better.
Yes, yes.
So tell us, what are some of the major issues that you had to face during your tenure?
I think, see, to be very frank, legal is a profession where I see every day there is a new challenge. Every day I face a new challenge. Every day you face a new issue, because that's the fun of this profession, frankly, I tell you. Because you are not doing a monotonous work generally. Generally, you get especially when you are a general counsel or a legal counsel with an organization, every day you get a new challenge. You know, somebody saying, asking you something, some other litigation, some arbitration, some legal advice, internal, external. So every day. And so I would say, so these are the major issues. If really talk about the major issue, one issue which I faced was when I was trying to implement the insider trading compliance framework in the organization. Because suddenly what happened is, especially in the last 4, 5, 6 years, SEBI has become so aggressive on certain matters, and insider trading, which was not very, not taken very seriously in India at one point of time. Suddenly the SEBI has putting a lot of pressure on the people, and after the WhatsApp and all kind of the things are there, apps are there. So insider trading compliances was on very priority on an agenda for me since 2015. And when we and then suddenly SEBI keep on amending the law, and new regulations and new process and new framework was coming into the picture. So every time you have to keep your people, employees, and designated employees, trained for that. And so to implement that framework, telling people that this is what is required and this is what you can't do, this is what you can only do, and then telling your audit committee that this is what the framework we have. And then communication and information to the employees is very important. If you have a framework, that's fine. Unless people know the importance of that framework, know the importance and the consequences of that, so unless it doesn't make a sense. So every quarter we used to do a workshop, training, telling people, helping people, making data, making tool applicable for that. So that really is one major issue which I faced in the last 2, 3 years. The other, of course, in view of this COVID-19, everyone is learning, I would say.
Yes.
I was telling somebody also that we have actually ahead 5 years ahead from the time, which you used to think that the things will happen in 2025 or 30.
Yes.
We are actually doing it now, as we are talking with each other face to face now on the Zoom. So everyone is so used to all this kind of a life now. And for example, we had a board meeting. In my entire career, I never had board meetings sitting at my residence, and the 13, 14 directors and the CFOs and other people are, from their own residences. And we had a board meeting, committee meeting, number of meetings we have done actually. So this is also, I think, one of the, we initially thought it's going to be issue, but, we are now used to it.
Almost everyone says this. I've spoken to so many people, and I think it's so fascinating that we always thought that technology is going to be the next big thing. But come to think of it, we are sitting in maybe different continents, different places, different areas, and connecting with people over Zoom or other applications. And almost everything is being managed.
Correct.
Nobody would ever think that people would have companies running, like really big companies running, like everyone's home.
Absolutely.
So what are your current priorities that you are focusing on, and how are they going to change the future? Like, what's your take on that?
So I think, taking from this again, COVID-19 and technology and all, so my priorities have suddenly, which was always my priorities, but suddenly has become more priorities and most priorities nowadays. So I'm just trying to, see how much automation can I do into my function. That is a number priority nowadays. Plus, second is that how to save the cost in the function, because tomorrow we are definitely going to have a little bad time after this opens up and all, and economy is, surely going to get some kind of a problems, and then there'll be some downtrend and all, and there'll be some dent into economy. So I think two main priorities. One is that how best you can automate your function, what kind of depending upon the cost benefit analysis. Of course, yeah, we're not going to do a lot of costing and a lot of spend on that, but yes, up to what extent we can actually automate, what extent we can use technology, artificial intelligence into our functions, and how much we can actually save in terms of function cost. If, for example, if you're doing big oversight, big offsites, and big sum functions and all, maybe little bit cut, and then taking advices from external lawyers, maybe a little bit can be cut unless and until it's very, very important, and we try to use our internal sources much more than the external advices and all. So I think these two are the foremost priority as of now.
This sounds really interesting and fascinating. Thank you so much, Samit, for sharing such great insights with us.